Now, I've arranged all these in a nice arrangement. I've got all these cards laid out, and these cards have been begun with a background. Hang on, stop rolling about. With a background like that, and nothing on the other side, right? Cut from an A4 sheet that I created with this, in this case, acrylic paints. And there's a few choices for me. So there's a white one with absolutely nothing on, in case you want to do something with that. Ditto the gessoed cards in white and black. Now this one's off this pile. I just moved it out of the way because I've had an idea for that one. And this one's another colour that's been done on both sides, that one. Another one of these sheets, well, a couple actually, because there's quite a lot there. And another sheet of white card, but this one I've put some printing on, printed all over it, with various bits and bobs. I like these actually, I do like them very much. Anyway, there you go. So there's a choice. So what I think I'm going to do is to choose this one here. Now before I do something with that, I just wanted to show you this. Now this was made with playing cards. You can see that it opens out into a, well, you will do in a minute when I loosen it up, because it's tied with this nice tie, not ribbons but threads. So it opens out, that's the backing. When it opens out this way, you can see that there are all the cards. Right? Lovely. Various designs on them and just put together to create a concertina book. So I just pull that nice and tight. Like that. There you go. Right, so I've got to do something with this one. Let's zoom in a little bit. Right, so what I've decided to do is have a go at this. I have no idea if this is going to work or not. This is what's called slug tape. It's copper on a peel-off strip at the back, which reveals the sticky side of the copper tape. And it's called slug tape because you put it round the top of your plant pot, your terracotta plant pot, and the slugs get up so far and then they meet the copper and they don't like it, so they don't climb over it. So I've cut some strips, and what I was going to do is, let's see if this will work. To begin with, I'm just going to stick some pieces down. Now I've no idea if this is going to work at all. I'm trying to get it smooth to begin with because I want to do something to this. You could use a bone folder or something. I think I'd like to put one sideways. I want to do it so that it's not regular. Well, it's regular, but it's, you know, just not a lot of strips. Sorry. Let's see if I can get that a bit closer to where I'm sitting instead of diving off all the time. I've got it down here. Yeah, okay. There. Try not to move it, dear. Try not to move it. I do that all the time because I'm trying to zoom in, but I've got my camera balanced ahead above me, you see. And I don't want it falling off the edge. Now then, how many more bits have I got? 2 bits there, but I've still got the rest of the roll, so no problem. I'm going to go and get some lenses so I can see what I'm doing. A lens so that I can see what I'm doing. Pop that on. Now then, where's the end of this stupid bit of paper? There we go. Right, well, I've finished covering this. I've finished using the slug tape for now. I may use a bit more. And I've begun testing to see if my idea is going to work. My idea is to use these little, this is a Paper Mania one, these little Pokemon tools, Pogamo tools rather. Pokemon. And that's meant for dotting on nails, I think. But it's all the same sort of stuff. And this is from a set for icing sugar. That was it. Yes. Sorry, a bit of a brain freeze there. So anyway, I've got a few of these tools. I've got loads more somewhere, but these are the ones I've hoiked out. And I'm going to try, which I've already started, and make dents in here, but little round dents like that. So they look like little rivets, hopefully, you see? So I will continue on with that. I won't make you watch. I'll just keep on doing that, and we'll see how it turns out. I have a feeling that the indentation is going to work better on the areas that have more layers of copper on it. So I may use some more copper on some more pieces on the lowest bits, like here and so forth. So we'll see what happens. Okay, well, this is how far I've got with it. You can see that there's quite a lot of detail in here now. Sorry about the flash, I'm just trying to get it so you can see it. And all I've done is what I was starting to do before. Go over it with one of these tools and just choosing one end or the other. This one has got a slightly larger end at one end than the other. And I've just used it on the corners to create an impression of rivets. That's all. So that's done. What do I do now? Well, I could do quite a lot of things. I mean, you could put a butterfly on it. You could put a rook on it. You could put a cat on it. I could put a joker on it. I quite like the idea of the rook. But then I've done that on another card, haven't I? So what I was thinking was perhaps using some texture paste or plaster or something, and this stencil. I quite like that idea. And then I could either, I don't know what I'm going to do with the plaster, whether I'll just colour it with something or use a coloured plaster or a texture paste, or what I could do, I do happen to have, now I've been using this, but I've used that one, but I also have this one, and actually I think that might go quite nicely with the copper, because when copper corrodes and is exposed to the atmosphere, it goes this kind of tealish colour, or possibly this kind of green colour. Well, we can have a go with the teal anyway, so I might do that, or I might just use ordinary plaster through there and then maybe paint it with, now I've got some iron paint. If I did that, I could then put a patina over the whole thing, and the copper would go one colour and the iron would go a different colour. I could do that. I'm thinking about it. I don't know. I might try this on this one and see what happens on another one. I like the idea of this lovely colour contrasting with the copper. Yeah, why not? Let's give that a go. Okay, let's try this then. Ooh, don't do that. I have to make sure it's not going to do that in the middle of me plastering it with this lovely gooey texture paste. Now then. Just trying to make sure I don't put too much on, so that I don't waste too much. I'll clean it off. There we go. I can waste as much as that. Oh, that's not bad at all. Ooh, lovely. Right. Okay, here's how it's looking. Now I've scraped away all the excess bits that squeeze through the stencil, so it's looking pretty good, I thought. So that's a good background. What I'm going to do with it next, I haven't got the faintest idea. So what I'll do is I'll do another one of these, but I'll get to that tomorrow because it's a bit late now. Right, I'm going to be doing some stuff on these cards, but this is, I'm not so keen on these ones, you know, because I'm not used to them being sort of cut down like that. But there we go. I've sanded this one and I've got this one done. So I'm going to work on the smaller one. The thing about a smaller one, let me just sand this side. Now I've got some wet wipes because there's such a lot of dust created from this. You don't want it going everywhere, do you? Right. Thing about these small ones, as I was saying, beginning to say, is they're small, so there's less room to put your artwork. Now, that may be a good thing, or it may not, but it doesn't have to stay small. The thing is, I was thinking that I would expand this to make it bigger. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a printed sheet and fold it up. A printed sheet of something, and fold it up and turn it into a sort of concertinary book type thing. I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to do that. I mean, I don't want to just do the normal concertina thing. I'm not with this one because it's printed for something else. But I want to do something that you fold in and then that becomes the other side. You see? And we do our artwork on here as well. Or at least on one side. I'm not sure whether to use that side together like that. And that way you'd have the two cards on the outside. Not sure. I'm thinking about that one. We'll see how it goes. And what's the other one I've got? Hang on, I've got another one somewhere. Now that's that one. Oh, it's this one with the... Yes, it's that one. It's this one here. This one here. With the golden scarab beetle. There. You see that? Oh, hang on. Let's get the light on it. There you go. Nice, isn't it? I thought they're really lovely. It's from a pack of insect cards. These, and I didn't want to use the only ones I've got. So I photocopied them and I'll be able to use them and shrunk them down so that they'll fit onto these little things. So I could use one there and one there, something like that. But that's the idea anyway. So I've cut some down already. Somewhere. Lots of little bits. I don't think I've cut down the really small ones. Oh, I thought I had actually. I don't know what I've done with them all. I'll have to whisk them out, see where I've put them all. But I do like them. They are nice. Too big for this though. That would be more suitable to go on there as a complete card. But I don't want to do that. I don't know why. Just don't want to. See, these are quite a bit smaller, so they'd fit nicely on there. You can put a couple on. I will probably cut those out to do that. I don't think I've got any further cut up. I thought I had, but obviously not. Let's get my wet wipes out of the way. So I'm going to do something with that. Okay, let's find out what we've got and what we haven't. Right, here we are. I like these at a bit of an angle, so I've stuck those down there. And that one on there. And I'm going to put this one right there, something like that. Just going to stick, they're quite small, so it's difficult to see on the camera. Just sticking some ordinary Anita's tacky glue. That's all it is. There you go. Anita's. It's what I have most of. It's easiest to get hold of here, so I just buy that one. don't have Fabri-Tac or anything like that. I know other people swear by it, but I just don't have any. Here we go. A bit more, just don't want it to go off the page. I like things that go off the page, but not when they're little flimsy bits of paper. There we go, it will just get bent. So we'll leave that to dry while I go and design and think about the bit of paper. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I've got this piece of paper. It's just one sheet out of my test sheets. What I do is when I get stamps, I test them on here, and sometimes I just like them, so I print them again. And I've cut a piece out of here. There you go. And trimmed it down until it was the right size. Because what I want to do is I want to stick this centerpiece. You see how it folds? See, so it would fold into that size. I'm going to stick this centerpiece down on here, and then when I've folded it, which will be the other way, that way, I will stick this piece on this one, and that makes a little foldy booky thing. It's not really a book, it's not really concertina, it's the other way, another way of doing it. Probably millions of people have done that before, but I just thought that would be nice. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, before I stick it down, there's me reaching for the glue, but before I stick it down, I'm going to get some colour on here. So I would do that with sprays. So I'll stop the video for a minute and go and find me sprays, and then we'll do a bit of spraying. Okay. Okay, this is how I normally do spraying. I've got a recycling bag that I've opened out, and I use it for spraying, as you can see, with all this colour. So I've had to go with this Marabu Caribbean, a little bit there. Right, next colour, let's have a go with this one. This is a Dylusions Laid-Back Lilac. Shaky, shaky, shaky. I get as much of the mica at the bottom into circulation. It's pretty much nearly all done. So it's gone from the end. There we go. Now I like this because it has some shimmer to it. But I don't want to have just that. So we'll put that one away for now. I don't think I'm going to use that one. That's Plum, which is another Marabu one. But I don't think I'm going to use that one because it's so close to the Laid-Back Lilac. But I've got some nice ones here. This is Mimosa. It's a Tattered Angels one. I was very lucky to get this. Got it on an auction on eBay. Like that one. And then I've got a copper. What is it? Copper? Or is it brass? Bittersweet Vine it's called, but it's got some gold mica in it. So I can have a bit of that. And this one is Vintage Pink and has also got some mica in it. So that one's a pinky one and that one's a goldy one. I think the pinky one actually, although I'm not a fan of pink, I think the pink might go best here though. Depending on how well it sprays. I mean, the top seems to say that it's going to spray quite well, and that's me making that top. I do that so I can see things a bit better. Now, I think that will be enough. I do like to clean the tops, the spray little nozzles. There we go. Now, what I'll do, because I like colour, I'm going to leave that as it is. And I might tilt it a bit, but I'm not going to do a great deal more to it. I just want it to dry. So it's quite damp, so I'll leave that for a while to dry, and I'll get back to you on the next stage of gluing down and so forth. In the meantime, what I'll probably do is get another tissue from a kitchen roll and soak up some of this excess, because that way I end up with some rather nicely coloured sheets like that. Well, I could use that one, couldn't I? And there's at least 2 ply there. Or is it 3 on these? It's 2. That's a 2. But I can soak up some more colour, you see. There we are. Soak some of those up. There you are, you see, get some nice colour. Shift that out of the way. And get some lovely colour. There's some blue. See, I don't like to waste these colours. They're so expensive to buy. Well, some of them come out to about £5 a bottle. It's a lot of money. You get 10 bottles and you spend 50 quid. Not that I buy them that many at a time, but there we go. Try not to anyway. So there we are. I've got some nice colour on that now. And I will use that again and again, as you can tell from me having to fish it out from there. Until I've got a nice lot on here, and then I can use it in crafting. Lovely. So we'll leave that to dry as well. Get back to you when things are dry and I've washed my hands a bit. Ugh. Okay, so let's get some glue on here. I've dried this with my heat gun now, so it should be dry enough, yeah. Just going to pop a little bit of glue on there. There we are. Now then. Let's do it that way on. Like that, and then we'll fold to the card when it's glued on. There we are. Needs just a little bit of additional pulling this way. I don't want to do it before it's completely set, so that it's not. There we go. Go that way, and this one is going to go that way. Trouble is, it gets a bit difficult once you've dampened it, because it wants to do something else. See, I will then trim a little bit off there, I think. Scissors, trim a little bit off there, just a bit. Like that. There we go. I'd rather it was a little bit in than too far out. So we've got that one that way up because the writing goes underneath. As you can see, all the writing is underneath. So that's the right way up. And this one will go on this side, like that. And then we open it up after. So I've got to stick it onto there. So that's got to go onto there like that. And it can't go too far down because of meeting this one. So it should go like that. Hopefully. Well, we'll see what happens. So I'm going to put the glue on here this time rather than on the card, because there'll be a little gap at the top where it folds over. Right, try that. Hope I've got it right way down round. It's going to be rotten if I haven't. Right, and hopefully it should be the right way up, like that. So I've both got the text at the bottom, text at the bottom. There we go. So what I'll do now, I think I'll just stick that box on top just to give it a bit of weight, and we'll wait and see how it does. Okay, here's another idea for doing an altar card. Here's a card that I have sanded down the front and the back, and I got this piece of paper that I cut out of my source book, my testing pages. These, just a piece I just cut out, and I cut these two out as well, and a couple more. And what I've done is I've torn this one and I'm going to layer it on here, and then I thought I'm going to put one of these on top. But I've coloured them using the same as this, using Distress colours, Distress inks. And here I used, I think I used Ripe Persimmon, and a little bit of I think it was Wild Honey. No, Fossilised Amber. That's right. Fossilised Amber. Or it might have been Wild Honey. Yeah, I think it was the Wild Honey. Wild Honey's got a slightly more yellowish tone to it. Yeah, I used the Wild Honey on there. That's right. And a little bit of peacock feathers. There. And a little bit of Twisted Citron on here. I mean, that's the same colour as that. That's the Wilted Violet. Ripe Persimmon, Ripe Persimmon. A little bit of the, that was Fossilised Amber, that one. So there we go. Or maybe that was Spiced Marmalade. I think that was Spiced Marmalade, and I wasn't so sure about it. So I went over it with the Ripe Persimmon, and that brightened it up a bit. There we go. So that's what I've done, anyway. So having done that, I then went and tore all those up, and we'll decide which one we're going to use in a minute. In the meantime, I'm going to put a load of this down and slop that on top. So here we go. Possibly. This is Collage Podge. It's similar to the Mod Podge, but I think I quite like the feel of it, actually. It's quite thick and gloopy because I've used quite a lot of it now. And let it lift. What I'll do is I'll put some down like that. Okay. Don't know where I'm going to put each piece. And various bits in various places. If they're not sticking down to what it's because it started to dry underneath, so I'll just go over the top with some more Collage Podge. I would do anyway. And some the other way, like that. I think I'll have one of those going that way. trying to distribute the colours somewhat. Yep, that one over there. I might put that one a little bit further up because I know I'm going to put the face there. And we don't want to... Well, that's better. I actually like that better, yeah. Not really until you actually get them down that you go... Whether you like it or not, you go, or, I should prefer that there, like that. Right, so the question is, which one am I going to use? I think it's that one. I thought it might be. Excuse me, got this between my teeth. I think so because it's a good enough contrast. And the idea afterwards, once it's down, is to go over the top because you're helping to seal it in so it's not... Not just sticking it down, but also sealing the colours in place so they don't move. Because these are distress inks and they will move otherwise, won't they? There we go. So that will go on another one. I thought it might. I was sort of thinking that it might go on this one. Oh, we've got that finished. But it's not quite dry, this one. Some pieces are starting to curl up, so I'm going to leave it overnight to dry, that one. So then we've got possibly on there, and then we've got this piece, which is looking good. With the inside, I might put something on the inside. Not entirely sure what. I'm going to go and wash this in a moment. But I'm liking the shimmer. You can see that, can't you? Yes, because that's mainly due, not totally, some of it's Tattered Angels, but it's mainly due to the Dylusions colour. Some of it Tattered Angels, because this is a Tattered Angels, but it's the Mimosa and it doesn't have any mica in it. But this, was it raspberry or something? Can't remember. Something wine. That one does have some glitter in. Mica, sorry, not glitter, mica. Anyway, there we go. Nice little bookies. Lovely. Superb. I'm quite happy about that, actually. I'll pop it with something on top to keep it down, and I'm going to go and wash these. So I'll see you later. So this is the collection of pieces I've done. One of them is missing, but I wasn't wildly fond of that one, so I'm not that bothered about it. I like this one very much. I like the way it folds up so neatly and becomes a little book. And this is one that I like a great deal as well. I showed you that. And here are some of the others. This is one we made while you were watching. The other one we made while you were watching, it's okay. I'm not sure it went, but the one that I like the best is this one. And I also lost that one, but I like it so much I made another one. So it's around the house somewhere, but there it is. It's lovely. Just a plain card. And it's lovely. Now I like that so much that I've taken it one more step. Now this is not the end step, but you can see that I've been putting something on this one. Now this one I've done out of a ordinary piece of card. I like an ATC size, 3.5 by 2.5. And it's got the same indentations on it that I've made using this. Now luckily this one end is missing, so I was able to use a little hammer and hammer it. I only needed one tap actually for each one, and that gave it this nice look. Now obviously this card must be somewhat thicker because it's made more of a cushiony indentation on that one. But this one is quite flat. I only did one tap. I did 2 taps on that one as well. That might have made a difference. But I did just 1 tap on all of these. So the card has remained still quite flat. But I've put this patina liquid over it, and it's just beginning to turn. You can see that there is some colour going there. You see it? Just a little bit. So that is one I got from some guy on eBay. It's called Iridescent Red / Purple Patina Solution for copper, brass or bronze. And I'm sorry, but I've got no idea who I got it from. But I'm sure you could find something like that if you search for it. Or perhaps I can find the same one again, I'm not sure. It might not be working now. I mean, he may be one of these people that does other things and can't do that at the moment. But you can also use the ordinary, well, you can use vinegar. Salt and vinegar. There you go. That's all you really need. I've done that before I discovered patinas. I've done it with salt and vinegar crisps, which I crunch up quite small, because then you lay the layer of crisps on top of the copper and leave it for a while. And when you take it off, don't leave it for too long, because this is only slug tape, it's very thin. Whereas a sheet of copper foil, they call it foil, but it's actually just very thin copper, that would be thicker than this. And even that, if you leave it in the solution for too long, it disintegrates completely, because it's just oxidizing. So I put it in the salt and vinegar crisps, and then when you get rid of the salt and vinegar crisps a while later, I can't actually remember how long. I think I left one for a day, and others I only needed to leave for an hour or 2. You can have a look and see how it's going and see what you think. And when you remove the salt and vinegar crisp, do it carefully, brush them off, let it dry, and then brush it lightly. If you rub it, then you will disturb the pattern, and the salt and vinegar crisps have fat in them, and that sticks to some parts of the metal so that you get the patination around the edges of it, so that it's got a lovely crissy-crossy bitty shape to it. It's wonderful. I can't explain it. I'll have to show you some. I'll have to do it again and show you some, but that is hoping to be a purple patina or possibly red. Well, we'll see. It's copper, it's real copper, and it's real patina. We'll see what happens. What I'm going to do with that is I'm going to do some more, and then I'll have enough to cover a box. You know, it doesn't have to be a huge box.